So today I'm building my brand new keyboard. I sold my previous keyboard to buy this keyboard and this cost $340 or £261. I got majority of the parts from Kbdfans and it was an assembled kit, so it just gave me the keycaps, the case, the PCB and the foam all together instead of buying it separate. It was a lot cheaper. And then I bought the switches from Keycaps UK. They lubed and filmed them for me, so I didn't have to do it myself, which I really didn't wanna because it takes so long. So I just went with them to get my switches, and neither of them were sponsors. It's just the companies that I went with to get the parts. So yeah, hopefully you guys do like this keyboard. I like this one a lot more than the previous one. It's definitely a high quality one. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So right here I have 70 Alpaca V2 Lubed and filmed switches. I brought these already lubed and filmed because it just takes too long to do it myself. And it was a good price, so I just got them pre-filmed and pre-lubed. This build was also meant to be some type of pingy keyboard. That's what I went for when I was buying these switches, so hopefully it'll come out quite nice. This PCB is the DZ60 RGB Hot-swappable PCB. I wanted a hot-swappable because I really don't like wasting my time soldering. And also this is the most common 60% PCB out there. This one also comes with the arrow keys because I wanted arrow keys. And this PCB did come with screw-in KBD stabilizers. And I didn't have any screw-in stabilizers. I did have Durock stabilizers, but I didn't have them screw-in ones, so I ended up sticking with these stabilizers, but they were very rattly. So what I did was Krytox 205 lubed them, and then I also Band-Aid modded them, and they sound perfectly fine now. I didn't end up recording that bit, but that is what I did to the stabilizers, and if you are getting these stabilizers, I recommend doing that. It makes them sound great. So the case, I did actually get the Blade 60 in dark grey. I really like the looks of this board, and it did come with gasket mounts, something I've never experienced before, so I wasn't too sure if I'd like it or not, but I did really like the design of the Blade 60. If you prefer the design, go with it over the tofu, but if you don't like the design, maybe stick with the tofu. And as you can see, it does come with sound dampening foam. This is just foam between the case and the PCB to just get rid of the echo. And this is quite nice foam. The blade does have quite a unique design to it. It has all these angles on the case. This is not really something I've seen before, and I personally like it. Again, it's probably not to everyone's taste, but I do like this design. And the case was much heavier than I expected. I've never had an aluminium case before. So since I brought this as a keyboard kit from Kbdfans, it did come with a polycarbonate plate, and I didn't really want that. I wanted an aluminium one since I wanted the keyboard to be pingy. Aluminium would do more of a pingy sound over the polycarbonate, so I did buy this plate. And then we also came with the foam, which goes below the PCB, and then also foam which goes in between the plate and the PCB. Again, just more foam to dampen out the sound. Now onto the keycaps. So these are cement grey Japanese PBT keycaps, and I was just trying to get keycaps which match with the case, so a nice grey on grey design with the case. I think this should look quite nice with the 60% board. And finally it came with this little keycap puller and this cable which I will not be using. So the first thing we're going to do is put the gasket mounts on the case. This is what they look like for anyone wondering. I've never had a gasket mount keyboard before, so this will be my first time using them. And yeah, we just screw them in to these little holes here on the case, and then we put a little bit of rubber on top of them. So let me just screw these in real quick. Okay, so as you can see, all four screwed in quite nicely. Now we just need to put a little bit of rubber on top of the gasket mounts to make the PCB softer. So these little rubber things get stuck on top of the metal, as you can see right here. So let's just stick them on, and then the gaskets are attached. Much easier than cutting your PCB out like you need to do with the tofu. Next, let's stick the little rubber feet on the bottom of the case. So again, quite simple. You can see where the indents are on the case. We just stick the little rubber bits on these little indents. Now let's just replace our sound dampening foam, and then we have completed the case, and let's move on to the PCB next. So the Kbdfans screw and stabilizers. So like I already said, I didn't have any screw and stabilizers, so I stuck with these. I removed the lubed them with Krytox 205, and then Band-Aid modded them. I did not record this, the video failed for some reason, but this was just too rattly, so I had to mod them myself. And if you don't know what a Band-Aid mod is, search it up, it's very simple. Next I put the switches in without putting the plate on. So let's just ignore that and move on. So next we're putting some sound dampening foam on top of the PCB. So this will be on top of the PCB and below the plate. So it just stops that echo when you push the switches that comes between the PCB and the plate. And it seemed everything went wrong in this video because the aluminium plate did not fit. I'm not sure if I bought the wrong one, I most likely did, but it was a DZ60 one. But as you can see, the second row from the bottom just completely didn't fit the PCB. All the other rows were fine, but the second from bottom, completely out. I've emailed Kbdfans, they haven't got back to me yet, but it most likely was my fault. As you can see, the polycarbonate plate is on top and it's just out of line, the second row from the bottom. So we just got to go back with the polycarbonate PCB, the plate for now. I don't really want to use it. I want the pingy sound from the aluminium, but we've got to use it for today's video. So we put the alpacas in, and because this is a hot swappable PCB, it's very easy. You just push it in and it clicks in. You can easily take it out as well. But now, PCB inside of the plate. We do have the sound dampening foam between the PCB and the case, like we've already said. We just got to screw in the PCB, and then we put our keycaps on, and then we're basically done with the board. So we are done. I was going to do a tape mod on this board, but again I want the board to sound pingy. If you do a tape mod it sounds fockier. Tape mod, if you don't know, is just where you put tape on the bottom of the PCB, again to trap sound, and it does make the board sound fockier. So if you're looking for a focky board, do that. But for me, I'm not going to be doing that as I want the pingy sounds. So now let's just get straight into a typing test and you can hear how the board sounds. Again, it's not perfect because I need to change the stabilizers to Durock stabilizers, and I'm meant to have an aluminium plate, which I don't. I have polycarbonate, so it's still not as pingy as I'd like it, and it's still a little bit rattly, like a very small amount. You would have no idea if you don't really know about keyboards, but if you know about keyboards, you might notice it. So in conclusion, the board is almost perfect. I want to get the Durock V2 screw-in stabilizers and replace them for the Kbdfans ones, because I was never originally using the Kbdfan ones. I have Durock ones which I always use, but they were not screw-ins, so they did not fit on this plate. So I need to buy some Durock ones which will remove the rattle in the spacebar, shift, and the backspace. There's a tiny bit of rattle, very small amount, but I do want to remove it since I want the ball perfect. And then I need to get the aluminium plate, which will make it even pingier. Again, I bought the wrong size, so it didn't fit this PCB. But when I get them two things, the ball will be perfect. But the ball does sound really good so far. I will be posting a video when I have made the improvements on this board, and you'll be able to hear the difference. I'll write in the description or something saying that this is with the aluminium plate and that. But other than that, I'm really happy with the board. It sounds good, it looks good, and leave your comments what you guys think about the board, if you like the design of the case and all that. So thank you guys for watching. See you later.